The app said my driver was approaching, but when I looked out the window, the car in my driveway didn't match the description, and the driver wasn't holding food. Tonight we have 3 disturbing true stories about food delivery gone wrong. These all happened on New Year's Eve, when everyone's ordering in, when drivers are overwhelmed, and when things can go very, very wrong. These stories were sent in by real people, and trust me, after you hear these, you might think twice about hitting that place order button late at night. This first story is from a woman named Ashley. She's 31, lives in a suburb outside of Chicago. This happened on New Year's Eve, 2023. She says she still doesn't order delivery after dark. Here's what she told me. So it was New Year's Eve last year. My husband Mike and I decided to stay in. We have 2 kids. They're 4 and 6. So going out wasn't really an option. We figured we'd order some food, watch the ball drop on TV, and do the whole family thing. Around 8 p.m., I opened up DoorDash and ordered from this Italian place we love, Giordano's. They have the best deep dish pizza. The app said it'd be there by 8:45. At 8:40, I got the notification, "Your dasher is approaching." I looked at the app. The driver's name was Maria, driving a silver Honda Civic, 5-star rating. Everything looked normal. I went to the front door and waited. Our house has a big window next to the door, so I could see the driveway. A couple of minutes later, headlights pull up. But it wasn't a silver Honda Civic. It was a black Ford F-150 pickup truck. I thought maybe the app was wrong. Maybe Maria borrowed someone else's car. It happens, right? The driver's door opened. A man got out. Tall, maybe 6 feet, wearing a black hoodie and jeans. No DoorDash bag, no pizza box, nothing. He started walking toward my front door. I didn't open the door. I stood there watching through the window. My heart was already racing. He walked up to the porch, looked at his phone, then looked at the door. Then he knocked. 3 slow knocks. I didn't move. Mike came up behind me and whispered, "Is that the food?" "I don't think so," I said. The guy knocked again, louder this time. I pulled out my phone and checked the DoorDash app. It said, "Maria has arrived," and there was a button that said, "Confirm delivery." But Maria wasn't there. This guy was. Mike goes, "Should I answer it?" "No," I said. We both just stood there in silence, watching through the window. After maybe 30 seconds, the guy turned around and walked back to his truck, got in, but he didn't leave. He just sat there, engine running, headlights on, pointing at our house. "What the fuck is he doing?" Mike said. I called DoorDash support, got some automated voice system. I pressed through like 5 menus before I finally got a real person. I explained what was happening. The support lady said, "Okay, ma'am, let me check your order status." "I don't care about the order. There's a man in my driveway who's not my driver and he's just sitting there." She put me on hold. 2 minutes, 3 minutes. The truck was still there. Then my phone buzzed, a text message from an unknown number. It said, "Wrong house?" I showed Mike. He immediately said, "Call the police." I hung up on DoorDash and dialed 911, told them everything. They said they'd send an officer. The second I hung up, the truck backed out of the driveway, slowly, and then it drove away down our street. No rush, just left. The police showed up about 10 minutes later, took a report. They asked if I had security camera footage. We don't. We'd been meaning to get a Ring doorbell, but hadn't yet. They ran the license plate I'd written down. The truck came back as stolen, reported stolen 3 days earlier from a parking lot in Naperville. They never found the truck, never found the guy. And here's the fucked up part. My actual DoorDash driver, Maria, showed up 20 minutes later with our pizza. She said she'd been in a car accident on the way to our house, a minor fender bender. She was fine, but it delayed her, which means someone had been tracking the order, knew when it was supposed to arrive, and showed up pretending to be the driver. We moved 6 months later, got a house with a full security system, and I don't order delivery anymore unless it's daylight. Ashley told me she still gets texts from unknown numbers sometimes, just random messages, "How's the pizza?" or "Wrong house." She changes her number every few months. All right, let's move on to story number 2.
This next one is from a guy named Carlos. He's 23 and was working as an Uber Eats driver in Boston. This happened on New Year's Eve 2022. He quit doing deliveries the next day. So I was doing Uber Eats part-time to pay for school. Usually I'd work Friday and Saturday nights because that's when the tips are best. New Year's Eve is like the Super Bowl of food delivery. Everyone's ordering, surge pricing is insane, and I made like $300 in 4 hours. This order came in around 11 p.m., Thai food from this place in Alston. The customer ordered like $60 worth of food, pad thai, spring rolls, curry, the works. Big tip too, like $15. I picked up the food, put it in my insulated bag in the passenger seat, and drove to the address. It was this old apartment building on Com Ave, one of those places that's been there since like the 1800s. Sketchy as hell. I parked on the street, grabbed the food, and walked up to the building entrance. There's a buzzer system with all the apartment numbers. I found 4B and pressed it. Nothing. No answer. I waited like 30 seconds and buzzed again. Still nothing. I pulled out my phone and called the customer through the app. It rang 6 times. Voicemail. Okay, so this is where I should have just left. Mark it as undeliverable, leave the food by the door, take a picture, and move on. That's the protocol. But it was a $15 tip, and I was trying to hit $400 for the night, so I tried one more time. This time, someone answered. Not through the speaker, the actual door opened. A woman, maybe mid-30s, blonde hair, wearing a rathbobe. She looked off, like not high, not drunk, just spacey. "Uber Eats?" I said, holding up the bag. She nodded, didn't say anything, just stared. Are you apartment 4B? I asked. She nodded again. I handed her the bag. She took it. Then she just stood there, holding the door open, looking at me. "Okay, have a good night," I said, turning to leave. "Do you want to come in?" she asked. I stopped. "What?" "For New Year's. Do you want to come in?" Every instinct in my body said no, but I tried to be polite. "Oh, thanks, but I've got more deliveries. Busy night." She smiled. Not a normal smile, a weird, slow smile. "They're waiting upstairs," she said. "Who's waiting?" "My friends. We ordered the food for everyone." That's when I noticed she wasn't holding the Uber Eats bag anymore. She'd put it down inside the doorway, and both her hands were behind her back. "I really gotta go," I said, backing up towards my car. She stepped forward, out onto the steps. "Hey," she yelled, "I'm talking to you." I started jogging, got to my car, unlocked it, jumped in. She was still coming towards me, not running, just walking, fast. I started the engine and pulled out. As I'm driving away, I look in the rearview mirror. She's standing in the middle of the street, watching me leave, and she's waving. I called Uber Eats support immediately. Told them what happened. They said they'd look into it and refunded the customer. The next day, I got an email saying my account had been flagged because the customer complained I never delivered the food and harassed her. I sent Uber screenshots of everything, the texts, the call logs, the GPS showing I was at the location. They reinstated my account, but the whole thing freaked me out so much I just stopped doing deliveries. A week later, I was curious, so I drove past that building during the day. I looked up at where apartment 4B would be. The windows were boarded up.
This story is from someone who wants to remain completely anonymous. I'll call him Jake. He's 19. This happened on New Year's Eve 2021 when he was working at Domino's. He made me promise not to say what city this happened in. I just started working at Domino's that December. It was my first job. I was doing deliveries because the tips were good and I could use my mom's car. New Year's Eve was insane. We had orders backed up for hours. I was running deliveries non-stop from like 6 p.m. until midnight. My last delivery of the night came in at 11:50 p.m. 2 large pizzas, pepperoni and sausage. The address was in this neighborhood I'd never been to before. Kind of rural, houses spread out, lots of woods. I loaded the pizzas into my mom's Honda Accord, silver, 2015, and punched the address into Google Maps. It was about 15 minutes away. As I'm driving, I noticed the houses were getting farther apart. Streetlights stopped, just dark country roads. My GPS said, in 500 feet, your destination will be on the right. I slowed down. There was a driveway, no house visible from the road, just a long gravel driveway leading into the trees. No lights, nothing. I checked the address again. This was it. I turned down the driveway. It was narrow, branches scraping the sides of my car. I drove for maybe a quarter mile. Still no house. Then I saw lights. A small house, 1 story, porch light on. Looked normal enough. I parked, grabbed the pizzas, and walked up to the front door. There was a note taped to it. It said, "Leave pizza on porch, cash under mat." Okay, cool. Contactless delivery. I set the pizzas down, lifted the corner of the mat, one of those welcome mats, and there was a $50 bill. The pizzas were $31, so that's like a $19 tip. Best tip of my night. I took the cash, left the change under the mat with the pizzas, and turned to leave. That's when I heard the door unlock behind me. I turned around. The door was opening. A man stepped out. White guy, maybe 40, wearing a stained white tank top and jeans. He looked at me, then at the pizzas. "You, Jake?" he asked. My stomach dropped. I was wearing my Domino's uniform with my name tag, so he could have just read it, but the way he said it felt wrong. Yeah, I said. "Your pizzas are right there." He smiled. "How'd you know my name was Jake?" "Wait, what?" I looked at the receipt stapled to the pizza box. The name on the order was Mark, not Jake. I don't," I stammered. "Your name's Mark, right? That's what the order says." He laughed. "No, I'm asking how you knew my name, Jake." "That's my name," I said. "I'm Jake. I'm the delivery driver." He kept smiling. "I know. I ordered it for you." "What?" "I ordered pizza for you for when you get here." I backed up toward my car. "I think there's some confusion, man. This is your order. You paid for it." He stepped off the porch, closer to me. "No, Jake. I ordered it for you, so you'd come here.
That's when I saw the second car, parked on the side of the house. I hadn't noticed it before because it was in the shadows. It was a silver Honda Accord, same model as my mom's car, same license plate. I ran. Full sprint to my car. Got in, started the engine. The guy was running after me now. I threw it in reverse, floored it, flying backwards down the driveway. Branches hitting the car, gravel flying. I kept looking in the rearview mirror. He was still chasing me, on foot, in the dark. I got to the main road, spun the car around, and drove. I was shaking so hard I could barely hold the steering wheel. I called my manager, told him everything. He said, just come back to the store. When I got there, he checked the order. The phone number was disconnected. The address was real, but when he called the county, they said that the house had been abandoned for 3 years. The credit card payment went through, but it was flagged as fraudulent 2 days later. And here's what still fucks me up. When I got home that night and checked my mom's car for damage from the branches, I found something in the back seat. A Domino's uniform shirt with a name tag. The name tag said Jake. I quit the next morning. I've never told anyone the full story except my mom and now you guys. The police investigated. They never found anyone at that house. No fingerprints, no evidence anyone had been there. But the car, the other silver Accord with my license plate, was found 2 weeks later, abandoned in a Walmart parking lot 3 towns over. Jake doesn't do delivery work anymore. He doesn't drive at night if he can help it. And he made me promise that if anyone asks, I'll say this story is fiction. But it's not. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. 3 true horror stories about food delivery. Which one scared you the most? Let me know in the comments. If you're ordering food, just check the app carefully. Make sure the driver matches, and maybe don't accept invitations from strangers. Subscribe to Spookfeed for more scary stories. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. I'll see you in the next one.